We are here because on July 22nd, OpenAI and Hugging Face disclosed that two powerful AI models went out of a sandboxed or closed testing environment, gained internet access, and then were able to hack Hugging Face's systems. In what was seen at the time as a watershed moment in AI safety. And now an investigation has been in part concluded, and there's been time to assess what happened. Hugging Face CEO Clement Delangue is here to discuss exactly that. And I think, Clem, that's probably the best place to start. What happened?
A lot happens, right, in the past few weeks. We noticed, disclosed, as you mentioned, the first kind of like public instance of an autonomous AI cyber attack. We defended ourselves against it with an open model, interestingly, coming from China. And we learned that this came from OpenAI. Usually, when you think about cyber attacks, you think about nation states, you think about hacker groups. You don't really think about one of the most prominent American AI company. And obviously, since then, we learned that Anthropic was also facing some of the similar issues. So really, unprecedented kind of like event happening here, new developments in the saga of AI.
We will discuss what has been highlighted by this, which is closed versus open debate, China's work on AI, America's response to this. But going back to the very basics, this was two powerful models from OpenAI, right? One released, one unreleased. But they had their guardrails lowered for the purposes of evaluation. OpenAI said to the models, they instructed the models, go out and do something. And I think it'd be useful to the audience for you to explain that part, whether the OpenAI models were just following instructions or if they were AIs that went rogue.
Yeah, I mean, I joked with the team a few days after it was announced that sometimes we ask agents to think outside of the box, but we don't want them to think outside of the sandbox in that in that case. I think it was a mix of kind of like mistakes and kind of like the systems internally. I think weren't good enough to prevent this to happen. After that, on our side, the attack was really interesting. Over 17,000 different actions taken over 4.5 days. So the speed and the volume of the actions taken were nowhere close to what like human cyber attacks could be. It wasn't particularly smart or sophisticated. It was more kind of like someone described it as a bear probing really everything in the system to try to find the honeypot in a way. But obviously, because it's an autonomous AI system, it does that pretty well.
After the disclosure on July 22nd, you got on an airplane and flew from Miami to San Francisco, in part to get with the OpenAI team and do this investigation. You just said that the systems were not in place to prevent this happening. Talk more about that. Prevent what happening? Where were the points of failure?
Well, I can't talk for them, but from what I've understood from what they released, and I think they're going to release more in the coming days, which I'm excited about. They had kind of like an evaluation sandbox, right, which was supposed to be like a contained environment for the AI models. And unfortunately, there was some weaknesses that led the agents to be able to get out of it, get access to internet, and decide to run a cyber attack against Hugging Face. So that's one first kind of like things that I think we can improve in the future. Now that we understand that these systems are capable of that, obviously, I think that the monitoring part is important, right? Because the faster you can detect that, the better it is. Right, we learned about some Anthropic instances that they haven't, seen or detected that happened 3 months ago or something like that.
Yes.
So obviously we want to monitor these systems better. And then one last interesting thing, as I mentioned, we defended ourselves with an open model, right? And some of the guardrails prevented us from using frontier APIs to defend ourselves. So kind of like improving the tools for defenders, instead of obsessing about not giving them to attackers, I think would be a good thing in the future to make sure these incidents are not too harmful.
Okay, you've taken us there, so we'll go there. In this incident, it was two powerful but closed OpenAI models, where OpenAI lowered the guardrails in place to test their full cyber capabilities. They escaped the sandbox or testing environment, gained internet access, and were able to access your platforms mistakenly. You defended yourself using an open model, but it was a Chinese model. But the abilities of that model to defend you were also diminished by their guardrails. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I mean, the open model, fortunately, was kind of like flexible enough that we could use it to defend ourselves. So that's kind of like the kind of like efficient tools for defenders.
We're live on Bloomberg Television and Radio on Balance of Power. There'll be people in America and around the world listening to this and thinking, okay, very powerful AI models were able to escape a testing environment, access the internet, and then access mistakenly another company's platform. What was the net result? Did something bad happen as a result of this?
Well, I think not as bad as it could have been. It was bad for us, for our team, right? I mean, our whole security infra team worked on this for quite a while. It created some challenges for us, obviously, but it could have been way worse, right? Like for example, we're an AI platform, right? So we have kind of like good ways to defend ourselves, but a lot of other organizations, companies don't have kind of like the same defenses. Obviously, some domains are more at risks than others. But I think it could have been much worse. But we need to take this kind of like seriously as a wake up call for us to kind of like work more on getting these systems secure and giving more tools to all defenders and generally creating more transparency and more monitoring of these systems.
Has the US government taken this as a wake-up call? Which branches of government have reached out to you since the event was disclosed?
I'm not going to talk to kind of like more the private conversations that we've had, but we obviously reported that to kind of like the relevant authorities and have had kind of like a bunch of conversations with different organizations, different kind of like Congress members and people from government. I mean, there are a couple of things that I think we need to do and get right in the next few months. First, in my opinion, we have to make sure that cyber attacks, even when they're done by agents, stay a crime and illegal, and make sure to enforce that. Otherwise, we're going to end up in a world where everyone is cyber attacking everyone with really no disincentive to it. Second, we need to create more transparency. Like, for example, why not doing mandatory disclosure when agent cyber attack is happening? And third, we have to kind of like give more tools to defenders, right? Like we mentioned open models. These are kind of like some of the tools that cyber attack defenders need to make sure that they can defend themselves.
To recap, you're saying that the illegality of an AI agent, a non-human, an AI agent carrying out a hack needs to be enforced, and basically broader regulations. The pathway to that is legislative, to your mind?
It's not really for me to say. Obviously, I'm not like a legal expert or policymaker. I think that's a topic that we need to think about. If you kind of like take kind of like higher view, we already have some autonomous systems in our lives, right? Like a self-driving car, and many others. We made sure there's kind of like liability, right? If you fall asleep at the wheel of your self-driving car, then you're responsible if you're hitting another car. In a similar way, we need to make sure that the legal framework for autonomous agents is clear and defined and useful for the field and the American society.
We're live on Bloomberg Television and Bloomberg Radio. This is Balance of Power, and we're speaking to Hugging Face CEO Clement Delangue, whose company disclosed on July 22nd that two powerful OpenAI models, without authorization or mistakenly accessed or breached his company's systems as part of a cyber evaluation that OpenAI was doing. You know, Clem, timing is everything. Within days, some of the most important people in the world of technology came out with a letter backing America focusing on open models. I'm talking about Satya Nadella, Jensen Huang, more recently, AWS CEO Matt Garman has joined many others. You know, do you think that the timing of that was a sort of catalyzed or a direct response to the July 22nd breach?
Well, I think it was related. I mean, this cyber attack showed that, you can create risks with models behind closed doors that are unreleased. So just working on, preventing the models to be released is not the solution. And that, defenders need open models because, to defend yourself against your cyber attack, you need to run it on your own infrastructure because it's usually on your private data. And you need the control that open models gives you that sometimes proprietary APIs don't give you because of guardrails, because of limitations, because of also how much it costs, right? So I think that was a perfect example and perfect validation for this notion of the world's small companies, startups, researchers, but also large companies like needing open models wherever they come from.
I would just point out, Clem, that in the course of this conversation, we've talked a lot about it was OpenAI's models. You conducted a joint disclosure and then joint investigation with OpenAI, and of course, we've made every effort to invite OpenAI onto the network, onto the show, to discuss their side of the story and the investigation. But that open-weighted letter, in part, was supposed to sort of outline the benefits of open models, the economic benefit, the business consideration. That is very much Hugging Face's realm, right? Hosts models, big and small, open on its platform. The other thing was the concern that there would be over-regulation of open models by the US government. Kind of bring that full circle for us and why you think that concern is valid or not.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of different topics in AI, and I think the role of a lot of people is to set the priorities. And I think what this later kind of was outlining too is that probably one of the biggest risks in AI is concentration of power, right? Like it's concentration of powers, capabilities, wealth in a few organizations, when everyone else would be kind of lagging behind and be kind of left out in a way, right? And open models are kind of like a counterforce to that, right? Like they empower small companies, startups, organizations that are not necessarily kind of frontier AI labs to build AI themselves, to own their intelligence, as some people said. And I think that's one topic that policymakers need to focus on a little bit more than they've been focusing on so far. So hopefully this letter kind of puts the topic more prominently on their desk.
After you and OpenAI made the disclosure on July 22nd that this had happened, I spoke to lots of your peers in industry, and there was also the kind of acceptance that this wasn't some major scandal. OpenAI has a lot of power. The closed models themselves are powerful, But generally speaking, industry said, we want to see the frontier labs doing this, doing these tests and evaluations of their capabilities, and then disclosing when something goes wrong. Just react to that, in that sentiment towards the events of that week.
I don't agree at all with that. It's like we don't want any company in the US running cyber attacks against other companies. This is a crime. This is illegal for a good reason. Because if you create a world where everyone is allowed to run cyber attacks against everyone, we're in for a lot of trouble, right? You have to remember that in our society, most damages and most hurts it isn't prevented because it is hard to do, right? Like if you think of it, I can go across the street and steal a grocery shop, and it's not that hard to do, right? It is prevented because this is immoral and this is illegal, right? So I don't do it because of that. Um, and it's the same thing for cyber attacks, right? If we end up in a world where um, these are normalized, cyber attacks are normalized, I think we're gonna end up in a very dangerous world. Um, the same way as I made the comparison with self-driving cars, right? We don't want to end up in a world where bumping into another car is normalized, is okay because you're driving a self-driving car. Like we want to make sure that our society stays kind of like healthy by keeping things that need to be must be
But Clem,
illegal.
This brings us back to the central concern of the American people, frankly, right? Which is OpenAI did not instruct those two models to go out and hack Hugging Face. They instructed the two models to undergo the evaluation, right? To do the test. They were able to escape the sandboxed environment, gain internet access, and they went to Hugging Face's platforms, in part, I understand, because the models determined they could find information on Hugging Face's platform that would help them to pass that test, carry out that evaluation. But OpenAI didn't instruct them to hack Hugging Face. Nevertheless, here we are. That's the bit that people are worried about.
Yeah. I mean, the same way if I'm on my Tesla and I have self-driving and I fall asleep at the wheel, my intention is not to bump into another car, but you still have kind of like I think liability. I think they shared themselves that there was some kind of like mistakes that were done, that there was kind of like ways they could fix some of the bugs that led or some of the weaknesses in their systems that led the agentic system to be able to escape. And I think they're hopeful to actually fix this and make sure it doesn't happen again. I don't think they're going to try in the future to build a system that kind of like regularly runs cyber attacks against other companies. I think they're going to build systems that are kind of like stronger, better to make sure these things don't happen in the future.
Hugging Face CEO Clement Delangue, we just have about 60 seconds left in the conversation. You've talked about what needs to happen, but what's the net result of all of this, and what needs to happen next?
Yeah, I think we need more transparency. I think it was a good wake-up call that preventing releases is not enough. I think we need more transparency on these systems. And second, we need to kind of like equip defenders better, right? Like for example, with open models that we used to defend ourselves. So we need more powerful open models for all defenders, so that we prepared for what's coming next.